So Sarah Valor is here, and she's going to just tell us a little bit more about food court, and then I'll come back up and chat a little bit more.
Hi, everyone. Hi. So, thank you, Jeannie. About a year ago, I was not working for a national nonprofit. I was curating cellars and creating wine pairings for dinner parties. Very different work. And a local person, Eva Schreier, hired me to come prepare the wines and pour them for a very important dinner she was hosting with Allison Rose. And that dinner was all about food court. I hadn't heard about food court until that night, and ultimately that night changed my life. I worked for many years in the food business, so I knew about food, I knew about food systems, and I certainly knew that our nation was having a huge problem with this fast food nation that we're all part of. But I didn't know that 1 in 5 kids are hungry. I didn't know that. And when I started to dig into this work, I learned that some kids go a whole weekend only eating chips. They show up on Monday morning starving. How can they sit down and learn? These children, turns out, rely on school food. That's where they get their calories. And so that is schools are where they eat. Schools are also a system. And as you know, systems are done and can be undone. So that's food court's work. And we've started to move the needle. Where food court is working, kids are eating more fruits and vegetables. They know where food comes from. They're excited to try new foods. And the culture of their school is transforming. Tomorrow, 30 million children, or right now actually, it's lunchtime for many kids, are sitting down to eat school lunch. Let's see that the children in East Palo Alto and beyond get the nourishment to have their bodies ready for their minds to grow. We'll touch 160,000 kids this year, and we'd love to have you join us to be part of this. I can guarantee you that, at least for me, the impact that I'm feeling, the emotional vigor that I get from this is way outsized to the time and energy and money that I put into it. So that's it. Thank you guys, and thank you, Jeannie.
So today I have the pleasure to introduce my dear friend Fern, who we met when our sons started in 6th grade. So we're going on our 7th year of friendship. And I would say she's one of the smartest, most insightful, humble people I've ever met. And I'm so excited to share her with you guys today. So Fern, she wears unbelievable, like many hats, and you would never know. This is the nicest I've ever actually seen her. Normally I see her riding on her bike throughout Menlo Park and Palo Alto, and she's just motoring here and there. But she runs a venture fund. She's a teacher at Stanford Business School, lectures there. She's a mom of 2 amazing kids. She's a wife, an amazing friend, and she just has so much to offer and share with all of us. So the inception of, this is kind of a funny digression, but 5 years ago now, the inception of the idea for Soul Food Salon happened on the flag football field. Do you remember? 5 years ago, I had this idea, and I ran it by Fern. We're like watching our kids play flag football, and I'm like, I have this idea. What do you think? And I've never done anything kind of like a business. I worked in a hospital. I was a doctor, and so she's been my go-to guidance counselor essentially, and has really helped me. The joke in our family, you talk to my husband who does do business, real business stuff. People say to him, I hear Jeannie's business is going really well, and he laughs, he chuckles. And he's like, business requires revenues. And I say, I never called this a business. This has always been a venture, and my goal is to educate myself and to bring you all with me. So without further ado, I have my dear friend Fern to share.
So just in case you're confused, we're not talking about microbiomes today. And you're not going to get any new ideas about what to cook or healthy snacks, because anyone who also knows that I cycle around all the time, I'm not the best cook. And we're talking about the entrepreneurial mindset. Most of these are like presentations, but I teach at Stanford, and we cold call all the time. Part of why you have your little name tags on. No, don't worry, I'm not going to cold call. But I do want to know, why are you here? Right? We're doing a talk on the entrepreneurial mindset. Does anyone want to share what caused them to come today? Yeah.
I have a small business. I've been an entrepreneur for a while, but I think there's always room to grow and be better at it and get my mind in the right place. And so the title directly speaks to me, and I want to meet Jeannie in person.
Yeah. Allison's presenting later in the season at an event.
Anyone else want to? Yeah.
I'm on the board of 2 environmental NGOs, and I think there are all kinds of opportunities for areas to move into that we just aren't used to thinking about. So yeah, sounded like you might have something for me.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
So I haven't worked for revenue in a long time, and I'm actually not really planning to work for revenue necessarily, but I'm really open, and maybe like a lot of other people in the room, just open, learning about wanting to be open to growth and learning and possibilities.
Yeah.
And I respect you, so I want to learn from you, and I love coming to these in general, and I always leave with kernels of knowledge.
Terrific. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
For me, I do run a nonprofit that tends to function more as a startup. And so when you run a small team, it's challenging to find particularly other women CEOs to sort of get ideas from. And so I love, opportunities like this to hear about, different ways of thinking and different opportunities to sort of grow, like you were saying, just growth opportunities. And so, the brainstorming opportunity to hear about that, you might grab a little spark that helps in sort of the path you're on.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up the global historical point of view, because our foodways are what they are because of entrepreneurial actions within the context of capitalism historically. And our foodways are a god-awful mess. But I also think that entrepreneurship and capitalism can find a way out in our foodways. And so I'm very interested in the entrepreneurial mindset.
Great. Yeah.
I work for a nonprofit that focuses on job creation in emerging economies through entrepreneurship. So, seeing the title, I thought to myself this would probably be a good place to learn from not just you, but from everybody else.
Great. I love a few of you focused on learning from each other. This is such a unique group of people. And for those of you that don't know me that well, I am an introvert. My daughter would say I'm an ambivert. Some that know me would say I'm an extrovert, but that's because they see me in big group settings. But look at how many cool people are here today. Get to know each other. Don't just go and talk to the people you know, right? Like all the people that just talked today, right? Go over. If you heard something they said that, like, wow, I want to know her. I want to talk to her. And if that seems uncomfortable, blame it on me. Okay, remember she said to do that, right? So before that person runs out of here, right? Because this is such an amazing community. I mean, since the day I came to one of these salons, I couldn't believe it. It blew me away. I completely disagree with Jonathan. This is an amazing venture. It does not have to have revenue. And let me ask you a question. Would you all pay to come? Absolutely. She just doesn't want to charge anything. I've asked her this 900 times. Right? Okay? And could this be all over the country? Absolutely. Every time I talk about this, right? And you all have the power to do things like this. There is no doubt in my mind. Those of you that did RSVP, what I do the day before, I look up everyone who's coming, like, you are total rock stars. Like, it's incredible who's in this room. So today I want to share with you some ways for you to embody the entrepreneurial mindset. And if not you, your kids. If not your kids, your friends. Share this. Share this with other people. My daughter shared with me how amazing Eleanor Roosevelt is. And this is one of my favorite Eleanor Roosevelt quotes. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. And this is the part I want you all to take away. You must do the things you think you cannot do. So let's warm up, okay? Who comes to mind when you think of an entrepreneur? Anyone?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
My dad.
Your dad. Okay, cool. Anyone?
Problem solvers.
Problem solvers, okay.
Cyrus McCormick.
Cyrus McCormick.
Risk takers.
Risk takers.
People who inspire.
Yeah, yeah. I often get, that group.
Very small business entrepreneurs that are sole proprietorships, or 2 or 3 people who are entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I teach a class at Stanford called Entrepreneurship from Diverse Perspectives. And in that class, these are the people that come, except for Oprah, and if you know her, I want to meet her. Okay? So, but I bring in 38 guests. And I love white men, I do. I'm married to one, I have one. I love Jake and Joey. I love white men. But we have to have other role models, right? We absolutely do. And then I also teach a class called Power, Building the Entrepreneurial Mindset. And I have all amazing women. The power is from the perspective of women. And they are amazing, and we see what they have done. And then my favorite entrepreneur is Jeannie. And I say that with, I'm an investor in radical candor. I'm incredibly direct. It is amazing what she's built. Would you not, right? You're packed in here, right? Standing room only. How great is that? Literally, we were on the flag football field. Hey, I have this idea. Jeannie, I have this idea, Really? Wow, what's your idea? What do you think about this? Wow, that's a great idea. The next week, this is what I'm doing about it, right? You all know Jeannie, right? This is what I'm doing about it. Okay. She wasn't starting out with, and every month we're gonna have these things, and we're gonna have 70 people, I'm gonna be using Eventbrite to get the RSV, none of that. It was like, I wanna share what I'm learning. I want to share the importance of food in our lives. We need to understand nutrition better, right? Look what we eat. Look at the crap my kids eat. I can't have this anymore, right? I forget, we were at Chuck E. Cheese or something. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe this, and she went and did it. And that first soul food salon, there were a ton of people. If 10 had come, yay for that, right? You would have shared your message with 10 people who would have had so much more knowledge, brought it home, cooked healthier, right? But yet look what this has become. This morning, I pop on Instagram, there's a cute little cartoon about, something related to the entrepreneurial mindset. Where did she find that? She's all into social media. But how did it start? Fern, I don't get it. How do you do this? What's up with this Instagram, And then there she is, and follow me, and the minute you send her something, all because she wants to share her message. That is amazing. That really is amazing. And I think a lot of you are doing things like this. Share it with other people. Share what you're doing with other people. So much of this is about our mindset. Does anyone know who that is? No? This is,
Simone?
Yeah, Simone Emanuel. First black woman to win an Olympic gold medal in swimming. The Rio Olympics. Are black people not good swimmers? But they've never seen anyone, right? You don't see black people like on PASA, right? You don't. But it's our mindset, it's what we get used to. So we have to really shift our mindsets. We have to believe we can do these things. She believed she could do it, and she did it. So much is related to this whole fixed mindset, growth mindset. So bear with me, I'm going to summarize Carol Dweck's work in 3 slides, okay? But I want you to take this as it relates to you and as it relates to your kids. Because I see so much, we're so fixed. Oh, they're natural. Oh my gosh, math whiz. Oh, Fern, I'm good at this. Well, have you ever tried starting a company, an organization? No. No, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. Well, you're not an entrepreneur yet. Not yet. Think about that word. It's so powerful. And I am telling you, if you set your mind to it, you can make it happen. I don't say it to everyone, but I'm saying it to everyone in this room. I have to put this in. My son is a senior in high school, so we got to get rid of this language. Best and brightest, top tier schools. Loves learning, seeks challenge. This is growth mindset. It's all malleable. It's a muscle. You can develop these skills. And then I'm very focused on growth mindset cultures. You can create a growth mindset culture in your home. How to improve. It's not about proving ourselves. How can we improve? We can get better every day. I truly try to get better every day. Be collaborative. Help each other. And this is the critical piece. Take on challenges. Encourage and reward people for taking risks. So for any of you on the boards at your schools, please share that message. Encourage and reward people for taking risks. But back to being entrepreneurial. What does it mean to be entrepreneurial? And does anyone know who that is? These are all photos of people in my classes or people that I've invested in. Does anyone know? Right, why don't we know? She started Evite, then she was COO at SurveyMonkey, and she started a company called Gixo. This is Selena Tabakawa, right? We know Steve Jobs. Lots of male entrepreneurs. But wow, when I ask people like she's raised hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not like it's like a little side project. Not that I think those are bad, but yet we don't read about her. But what does it mean? What does it mean to be entrepreneurial? Anyone? Remember, I teach. I have to get you're all just staring at me and I'm thinking you're going to fall asleep or something. I'm going to cold call. If you don't, some of you have been to business school. You know what that's about.
We have to take risks.
Yeah, take risks.
Think out of the box.
Think out of the box.
Great.
Gritty.
Gritty. Be gritty.
Disruptive.
Disruptive. Pardon me?
Leadership.
Leadership.
Solving a problem.
Solving a problem.
Creative.
Creative.
Decision maker.
A good decision maker.
Adapting.
Adapting.
Taking action.
Taking action.
Charismatic.
Charismatic. You were very, wasn't she charismatic? Huh? We got to hit that 10,000 today, right? How about, this is what I want you to do the next time. Ask for a commitment, right? Are you all in?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Right? I'm going to donate.
You were very authentic.
Very authentic, right? That works. She's entrepreneurial, right? She had her happy job, cruising along, doing the wine pairings, right? Everyone wanted to spend time with her, right? Now she's asking people for money. They're like, don't come, you know? Please don't come. Bring the wine, don't come, ask for money, right? But she took a risk. Wow. You're right. All those things are what it means to be entrepreneurial, right? Move outside your comfort zone. And I believe to help make the world a better place. It's not the exact definition, but I know so many of you in here, I know that's what you want to do. Soul Food Salon is making the world a better place. There is no doubt. Just even in this community. So what do I mean by the entrepreneurial mindset? I have a rather goofy acronym. Many of you said the words that encompass it. I call it COOGLE. Courage. You'll remember that, right? Courage, opportunity, optimism, grit, leadership, and execution. So when everyone walks out of here today, I want you to think about what you're actually going to do. I don't want this presentation, normally it's a workshop, but I don't want this presentation to just be about like hearing the words. What will you do? What will you share? What step will you take? That's what the entrepreneurial mindset is all about. So what is courage? First of all, this is Rachel and Britt. They are the founders of Guild Education. They were in my class 3 years ago. And they had this idea for a little startup to help people at companies like Walmart and Chipotle, Disney, those that earn like $30,000, realize that they have a career trajectory. They had worked at Teach for America, and they're like, Fern, we're going to start this nonprofit. You know, we have a grant for like $500,000 to help people do this. And I'm like, well, that's great, but that's a huge opportunity, huge, right? Every Fortune 500 company has people like this that they've kind of ignored that could seriously use a coach, someone to help them understand, like, how can I go to college? Or how can I work towards that? How can I learn new skills to move ahead in my career? I'm like, well, what do you mean, Fern? You can do it as a nonprofit for sure, or you can not even charge money, like Soul Food Salon, or we can like, let's just check it out. Let's see how this goes. They recently raised $40 million to add to the $30 million they raised over the last 2 years, and just closed, 7-figure deals with Walmart and Disney. And they are helping people all over the world. What it took, though, was taking action in the absence of certainty. You never have that certainty, ever. Fern, you think we can raise that money? Yes. What was I going to say? Right, but you never exactly know. You never exactly know. You just have to do it. Right? We studied the market. Right? I'm not saying take crazy risks. Jeannie knew 10 people that would show up, all of you. Look, if you're like me, and she's like, you're going to do the salon. I'm like, I don't know. You're going to do it. I'm not sure. You're already on the schedule. Send me your photo, your bio. Where's the presentation, right? You think I'm joking. This is a real deal, right? Like, so she knew, right? So think, right, like I'm not saying just jump off a cliff. But you can take these risks. You can try these things. And you have to move beyond your comfort zone. You have to. 7 years ago, I was asked to teach a class called Entrepreneurship from the perspective of women at the business school. I don't teach. No, you're confused. That's a different person. They're like, no, this is good. You're going to do this. I'm like, no, I'm an introvert. We don't teach, we listen, right? And those of you that know me, am I a good listener? Yes, I'm a great listener. I'm happy listening. No, you can do this. And I went out, right, and I interviewed people to figure out, I interviewed 200 people, like what are the challenges to being a woman and being an entrepreneur? And I watched all these YouTube videos about being a good presenter. Don't pace. Oh, sorry. But I thought, what the heck? I'll try it once. It was going to be a mini class, 2 weeks. They call them pop-up classes, condensed classes. If it doesn't work out, no one will ever remember. I loved it. Right? But you have to move beyond your comfort zone. My comfort zone is getting on my bike and riding around and, people making fun of me. That's my comfort zone. This is not my comfort zone. But yet it's so satisfying. It's so powerful. Go big in however you define it as going big. But don't think small. Think bigger than you normally think. I do an entire series of classes on what I call the 3 C's, but I really wanted to share it with you. So there is tons of literature on competence and confidence. Everyone in this room is incredibly competent. Right? You're all going to tell me how each one is smarter than the next. But confidence, that's a tough one. Right? I'm not going to ask, but how many in here ever have felt the imposter syndrome? Yeah, me! Jeannie yesterday, Fern, send me a presentation. Oh, I'm still working on it. Fern, what the heck? Can you just send me it? I want to get it set up. I teach this. Right? But I was like, oh God, I just got to get it right. Or I don't know, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going through this. Miles, who's so used to me. You have a presentation tomorrow? I do. Mom, you're going to be fine. You're good. They want to come. They want to hear you. No, I don't know. We have to figure out how to gain that confidence, right? Because all the time people say, Fern, give me a confidence hack. Come on. Like a pill? I mean, I don't know. What can I do for you? But the key thing is courage. Confidence builds through hard work, success, and failure. So if you take those little risks, you said it. Maybe you fail, but then you get up and you do it. Wow. You have just gained confidence. So when people talk about this whole confidence versus competence, and they'll say like, wow, the person that walks in and is super confident, that's the one we're going to choose. Right? Jeannie, I talk about her all the time. How can that little person have so much confidence? Or it seems like she has confidence, right? Wow. Build that in yourself through courage, through taking some of these small risks. And again, if you're super confident, then think about your daughter and maybe your son. Right? How do you help them build that confidence It's through courage. It's through the growth mindset. It's through taking risks and moving through them. Amy Chang ran analytics at Google, right? Started and ran analytics at Google. So it was like $1 billion business. Okay? And she's like thinking about leaving Google. Well, I'm not sure what's next. I have some ideas for a company. I'm not sure, Fern. You run analytics at Google. Thousands of people report to you. You are a total rock star. You worked at McKinsey. You did you went to Stanford. You have your master's in electrical engineering. What? I'm just not sure. Imposter syndrome. Amy Chang. She just sold a company. That is the name of the company. It's not a joke. ACCOMPANY to Cisco for $300 million. But it took, even with her, saying, Amy, you can do it. Come on. How many more walks do we have to go on for me to say, you can do it? Right? So for all of you out there that are thinking, I have this idea, I don't know. Talk to me. I'll go on a walk with you and tell you can do it. Have a buddy who you talk about this idea with. Just try it. Just try it. And I'm not saying you want to start something that's going to make $300 million. That's not it. But see that challenges are opportunities. If you see that opportunity, do it. Again, it's all about that growth mindset. When you see it, how many of you, some Gixo, the one I just showed you, are these videos online and you do a little athletic class with someone else? Who hasn't had that idea, right? Every single person I tell about that, I had that idea. Well, you did nothing with it. You didn't do it. She did, right? Seize those opportunities. Don't just see them, right? The great idea, Soul Food Salon. I could have done it. Well, you didn't. Jeannie did. Do something. It's all about curiosity, right? Be curious people. Don't just be like set in your ways. Ask lots of questions. And don't wait for it to come to you. Create it. Optimism. I love optimism. We always talk about it, right? The glass is half empty, the glass is half full. Please, it's half full. And it's so easy to pour more in. This is Joy and Madeline. They're in my class. They wanted to create toys for the elderly, people with Alzheimer's. And everyone kept saying, and I love them. 2 summers ago, they actually helped. I started a school for Miles when he was 5, a Young Fives program called Periwinkle in Palo Alto. And I spend the summer with PJ, right, the person who now runs that school. And okay, and so they got more excited about toys. And I also had a toy company, and they're like, well, you did toys. And I'm like, I know, but I don't do it anymore because I don't think it's a good business. But they just kept working at it and working at it and working at it. And what it became is a company called Mon Ami, and they're activity buddies, right? And so I think about my father-in-law who just passed away, and as he was really declining, it was so sad. He wanted company. He wanted happy people in his life, not the nurses that we had going through the door day and, all 24 hours a day. It was, here's your pill, here's your, He wanted like happy little Stanford students coming in to take his memoir, play a song, do a puzzle, right? They are killing it, right? They had to work at it. They had to maintain that optimism. This will turn into something, right? Because we didn't need toys for the elderly. It's a tough bit. We're not going to talk about why that's a tough business, but wow, this is, right? Who in this room can't think of someone that could use an activity buddy? Frankly, I could use an activity buddy, right? But I mean, right? Someone who's, kind of housebound, right? That could just use a happy person in their life, a young, youthful person, right? So they've just raised $5 million, just graduated. Not that that means it's successful, but they just kept at it. They maintain that optimism. And these are all ideas that all of you can do. I'm not saying you want to start Mon Ami, the activity buddy company, but right, you can all do it. You can all do it. Anything is possible. There is no one right way. That is a theme in many of my classes. There is no one right way. It actually makes teaching my classes really hard. If I taught accounting, yay, right and wrong, right? There's clearly a right and wrong, or you go to jail, okay? Where's right? The entrepreneurial mindset, what's right? There is no, that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. This is such an important one. You all have such unique qualities, each and every one of you. Often some that you think are kind of bad. And sadly, not to stereotype, but often when I talk to groups of women, or I talk to people of color, like, oh no, this is not a strength. It's a huge strength, right? Every meeting I walk in, it's me, me and a bunch of guys. They always remember me, always. Now, it could be because I rode my bike there, or my name is Fern, no. They use your unique qualities as strengths. Enjoy the process. Right? If it's not fun, most of the time, not all of the time, right? Can you imagine I used to say that, and Miles is like, well, I don't like tests. And it's like, no, not all of the time, right? Most of the time. You have to enjoy the process. Make the most of every day. And again, all of this I'm trying to share with you, but also I'm sharing it with you to share with your kids or people you work with, right? Like, not to be a downer, but today could be your last day. So make the most of every day. We got to celebrate more. I used to actually, with all of my companies, like until they actually raise the money or until they ship the product, I'm like, no, don't get too excited. And then I realized, why do I do that? Let's just celebrate the mini victories. And it really helps as it relates to the entrepreneurial process. And someone said it, you gotta have grit. You have to have grit. This is Laura Weedman Powers. This is Tristan Walker. They created Code 2040. Tristan has a company called Walker & Company. They have absolutely passion and perseverance in spades, right? And you're always like, wow, look what they do. That's incredible. It does require grit. And I'm guessing that each of you in your past had something where you had to have grit, right? You moved through a wall. Feels great when you do it, right? It's really a powerful feeling. We need to have gritty kids. It can't all be easy. I just find it so interesting that all the words start with C. Yeah. Jeannie was so mad at Eventbrite for a while because she had some problem with the RSVP system. Fern, who do you know there? I know Julia Hart's a CEO. I want to talk to her. Oh my gosh, the RSVP system. Like, I think they're buying. I think they're buying a couple of companies and they're like trying to go public. I need to talk to her, right? I mean, like, that's what you have to love, right? Like, that's what it takes. Like, Jeannie's like, I should talk to her. She's coming to speak in my class in a couple of weeks if you want to. You're right. You're totally right. Key to this process is really to be a leader. And you are all leaders. So you got to bear with me because I'm super passionate about inclusion. And I had a lot of slides in here about inclusion, and Jeannie's like, it's not a talk about inclusion. We're going to stick with the entrepreneurial mindset. But I am so passionate about it because to be a great leader, I truly believe you need to be an inclusive leader. And we don't do these things. I've interviewed 3,000 people around the world. And it's amazing to me how often we don't respect everyone. Right? Like, how many people know the name of the janitor in their company? Right? Today I walked in and this fabulous team is working on, videotaping this presentation, and I wanted to know them, right? They were key to me, right? I may not be friends with them in the future. I mean, maybe Jeannie's like becoming Instagram friends with random people, but respect every team member. We are each complicated people that have so many different interesting things about us. You're not just women or women. Well, hi, I'm Fern. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. You okay with all this? You're doing great.
I'm going to report all of this.
Yeah. Right? We have to value all the different aspects of each of us. That's what also plays into what our unique strengths are. I can't tell you how many people tell me they don't feel trusted. People in companies, kids. If you don't trust someone, they know it. They feel it. Don't just think they're going to be fine. Tell them how they can earn your trust. Help them earn your trust. This is so important. You're in a nonprofit, you have a startup, whatever you're doing, your family. Don't just give feedback, get feedback. And then the key thing about feedback, act on it. And if you don't, tell them why. Okay, so after this today, I can just imagine you go home, you're like, how am I doing? I don't know about you, but when I go to any talk at Menlo and I come back and I'm like, hey, so, oh my gosh, you went to a talk, right? I did. No, Mom, no more talks. No, but this is the thing. On feedback, first time you ask, they're going to say you're awesome, right? In my class, okay? Every week I come in. Any feedback? They're like, you're awesome. I'm like, and I grade you. Yeah, I'm awesome. Next week. And come on, really. And any feedback? No, we love you. You're such a great teacher. Thank you. Week 3, really. I really, really want feedback. Okay, one person in the back. You give us a homework assignment, but then you send it back 10 days later. We really want that feedback right away. And I'm like, thank you so much. And everyone's like, oh my gosh. And so then the hands are flying, you know, like, well, the pacing again. Like, what's with the pacing? And hey, I am sorry about the pacing. Just work with me. Is that bothering anyone? Anyone have some feedback? Yes, I love you. But you have to keep asking for it. No one's going to give it to you the first time. So this is the thing. Little feedback, side. Little feedback. Yeah. So I'm a big believer in radical candor. Some of you have heard me talk about it. If you haven't read about it, I would look up radical candor. And for the most part, I've always lived in the zone of ruinous empathy, right? I don't give real feedback. I'm like, you look so good today, Lisa. Wow, brutal. What was she thinking, the black over the stripe? It doesn't work, right? I love you, right? So what we have to start practicing is giving good and helpful feedback, right? So it's not negative feedback, right? That the feedback about grading wasn't negative. They're right? It's like, why would I expect them to get the homework assignment and then like 12 days later back, and it's because I was busy going to a basketball game? Like, what's up with that, right? So feedback is guidance. Feedback is guidance. It's meant to help people move forward. And so the more we use that, the other critical part of feedback is you have to convey that you care about the person. Okay, so there are two axes, caring and sharing. Okay, if you're like, you suck, and like, why, that presentation was like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, yay, right? You're like dead. That's so bad, right? But wow, I want to help you be successful. And so could we work on your presentation together? Because there were a couple of things I think we could improve upon. Could we do that together?
Well, that's a positive invitation.
No, but we have to think about how we give feedback, right? And this is even for our kids, how you give that feedback. And I am not at all about fake positive feedback. I coached every kid's sport and we had no participation trophies. Like, those are just ridiculous, personally, I think. But real feedback, it is a gift. It truly is a gift. This morning, Jeannie, feedback on my presentation that I sent her. And she said it in the nicest way. I was like, yay, for sure. You have to think of it as a gift. It is a gift. But you have to take it. You can't just give it. Because if you just give feedback and you don't take it, they're like, what's up with that? Humility. I tell all of my Stanford MBAs to eat a lot of humble pie. I'm sure you all do. Does anyone in here want to share the difference between empathy and compassion?
It has to do with the perspective. So when you're empathic, you actually take on the perspective of the other person. It's where you place yourself. You actually imagine yourself in their situation. Whereas the compassion, we can all send that out, no problem.
Sympathy is where you send it out, no problem. Empathy is where you can feel it. Compassion is where you try to help someone. So take it one step further to compassion. Right? We can all help each other. And this is all related to the entrepreneurial mindset. Right? The entrepreneurial mindset in so many ways is about helping other people. It really is. Creating things to help other people. Moving outside of our comfort zone. It's a lot easier to be sympathetic or empathetic than compassionate. So much easier. Oh, what a bummer. As opposed to, I'm going to see how we're going to raise that $10,000 to help right? Not eat chips over the weekend. Yeah, I get that. It's all about action, taking action, caring about others. I'm not going to focus on all of this today, but we can all be an ally. We can all help others. And I talk to groups of women that are like, I'm the one who needs the help. We can all help others. This is so critical. Don't assume. Be an active listener. Take notes, maybe. Critical to making any decisions ever is to understand how you're making the decision. Does that make sense? Our job, certainly as leaders, is help our team be successful. Our job as teachers, I would argue, is to help our students be successful. It's not to grade them. It's not to put them in order. It's to help them be successful. Jess Lee is the newest partner at Sequoia Capital. I love her, total introvert. She was the CEO of Polyvore. She had her way of being the CEO, not the way we all imagine, right? And so I want you all to imagine a different way, your way of doing this. What is it about your story, who you are, that can allow you to have the entrepreneurial mindset, to allow you to do these things that have been floating around in the back of your mind, like, maybe I can do that. We've been sitting a while, so we're going to have just a little interaction with the people around you. Okay, do you mind? Actually, stand up for a second. Whew. Okay, you're all packed in there. All right, so, we're hugging over here. We can all hug. So this is what I want you to do on this one, right? This is all about intersectionality, okay? And what intersectionality is about, and I'm sure someone in here knows it, it comes actually from a different place, but the way we use the term now is that there are so many parts of us that are really interesting, that make us who we are, that are such a key part of our story. And probably some things you've never shared with anyone before. So in groups of 4, or whatever is natural and where you're sitting, okay, I want you to share something about yourself that the people around you might not know. Okay? And so if you're sitting with people that you know really well, then you're going to have to work a little harder. All right? All right. Everyone, go ahead, do that, Aber. Just something interesting about your background, okay?
Okay, share something about yourself.
Often those things that we don't share are really what drive us to be who we are and what we bring to the world. And so I encourage people to dig deep and try to get to those things. And here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Shall we sit? Yeah, sit down. Okay, it doesn't mean we're done talking about this, just for right this moment. My little team over there shared some pretty amazing things, assumptions people have about them that are so untrue, their backgrounds that are so powerful, backgrounds like where they're from, and one was raised over a bar in Wyoming. Like, it's crazy, sort of the things about us that have made us who we are, that drive us to be who we are, so far beyond what we see, right? So far beyond what we see. And then a lot of that is our story. And why I'm having you do this today is I want you to think about, what is that story you want people telling about you? You have a lot more years. What is it? They're like cracking up over here. What? You're going to tell us later. But what is that story? What is that story you want your kids to say about you? Favorite presentation by far this year, group of 10 young women. And I put up those slides about, who's a great entrepreneur. And this one girl raises her hand. She's like, my mom. I was like, I love you. I had to hug her, Like, no one never says that. All your girls can say that, right? They need to see all the amazing things that you're doing. What is your story? What makes up who you are? And that E, execute. Right? All of this is great. Wow, look at all this great stuff I'm hearing. Not sure how I'm going to do it, but great to hear it. But you have to do it. You have to execute. This is Lisa Skeet Tatum, the CEO of Landit. She just makes stuff happen. She does not care that she's black and that half the meetings she goes into, people are like, you really think you can do this? She's like, absolutely I can. There's no doubt. Take action. Own your power. You have a lot of power. This is a really important one. Make a decision, do it. Don't be wishy-washy. Well, maybe. Just do it. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Follow through on your commitments. You say you're going to do something, do it. Have you seen that quote? I love that. Right? You got to take the shot. Right? You really have to take the shot. And if it doesn't work out, no one says like, oh, that Michael Jordan, he sucks. He missed that big shot. We don't remember the ones you miss. And then when you get it in, right, it builds that confidence. You have that courage the next time. So I believe that if you shift your mindset, you can change the game. And there's tons of research about this. Alia Crum, Amy Cuddy. We all know, right, you can take a little sugar pill and you can feel better. Your mind is so powerful. Fake it till you make it. I've heard that my whole life. Has anyone else heard that? I'm not a big fan of that saying. I don't fake anything. And what is making it? What is making it? Like then you're done, then you sit home and eat bonbons? Like what is that? So I've looked at all these different people that do all of this research. And I've put it into think it feel it, do it, be it. Right? So we all think so hard about these things. Go ahead, do it. Think all you want. But when you feel it in your gut, right, that's when it matters. It's not when it's in your head, right? It's when you can feel it in your gut. Then you have to do it. Most important, though, is to be it, to really embody it, right? So if I just went through the motions of teaching, it wouldn't have worked. But for me to believe I'm going to be the best possible teacher, that's when it really works. That's when it works. Think it, feel it, do it, be it. Okay, so then what does that mean? So, easy to say this, right? Believe in yourself. You're like, okay. But if you don't, who will? If you don't, who will? And remember, right? Think about your kids. And even your adult kids, if you have kids that are way older, right? It's so important. We have to convey this, and it starts with us. We all have those little voices, right? We all have the what ifs. Oh my gosh, what if I say something stupid? What if no one shows up? What if, oh my gosh, we would do nothing. We would do nothing if we got stuck on the what ifs. Like literally say to yourself, stop, come on. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Those pros and cons lists. So you get those first few pros on there, you're like, yeah. And then you have like 20 cons. And you don't do it. Skip the list. We can all come up with a million reasons not to do something. Right? And then Jeannie starts Soul Food Salon, even though you had the idea, right? Well, because I don't know, my living room isn't big enough, and maybe I'm out of the way, we don't have good park. Oh my gosh, like how many, right? We all do that. Come up with all the reasons why it's gonna work, and then do it. There's a lot on that sentence, right? This was at like 3 a.m. slide. You have to manage your own expectations, right? It's all about expectations. Like life is all about expectations. You're like, wow, that was powerful. But it is, right? If you're coming here and you're like, oh my gosh, she teaches at Stanford, she is awesome. I may have let you down. It's like, well, Jeannie's house, some random woman's coming to talk about, you're like, that's pretty good. Wow. Wasn't such a waste of time. Jeannie said she'd be riding up on her bike. Do that with yourself, though. What are your own expectations? Are they so high you're never going to achieve it? Oh, if I start this, it has to be this good. There's no way. 5 years ago, would you have imagined this? There is no way. We're videotaping. Fern, come on, you need to no, I don't want the mic. I hate the mic. No, you have to use the mic. We're videotaping. Like, oh my gosh, we weren't talking about videotaping 5 years ago and putting it up on YouTube. Right? You have to manage what it is those expectations are, and then, this is the big one, you have to redefine perfection. And we all know this, right? Every one of you who has daughters in this room has talked to me about getting all the A's and how perfect they have to be. Wow, we have to help them. What is perfect? I'm not perfect. Is anyone in here perfect, other than Jeannie?
Because of our definition of perfection is extremely attainable. So we use the word perfect in our family in a with a definition that would not be in the dictionary.
Yeah, redefine perfection.
I think perfection should be on the table.
It should.
I run two businesses, and if you try to do perfection, it's unattainable.
Exactly.
And we all, I think a lot of entrepreneurial people and a lot of just successful people, men and women alike, are trying so hard, they think it has to be perfect. And very few people out in the world expect perfection because there's not that much of it out there. So if you don't have a nice high bar, but it's not a perfect bar, you're making most of the people happy, and you're succeeding.
I wanted to say get rid of perfection, but I've tried that before, and people are like, like you can't just eliminate it from the dictionary. So what I'm asking you to do is to redefine it, right? You have your own family definition. Love what you just said. Yeah.
Perfect is the enemy of good.
Thank you for that. Yeah, exactly. If you're trying to attain perfection, you don't start. Because,
Good enough.
Good enough.
My father-in-law says start before you're ready.
Yes.
I think people can get paralyzed with perfection and then never
We
try.
do. I meet with people all day long that are paralyzed. Well, I need to do all these things. I need to do all this. I need to do all this. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. Just get going.
It's like what is success to you, right? So for Jeannie, if two people show up on day one, as opposed to perfection, it's like define what success in that situation is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
More than two people show up.
This is really important. You got to make mistakes. Right? Remember, failure is part of the growth mindset. Failure is part of courage, right? And then gaining that confidence, right? Like you fall down, you stand up, do it again, right? Michael Jordan, man, he went and then practiced, 3,000 shots and then got the last shot the next game. It's part of it. Remember this for yourselves and share it with your kids. When you make a mistake, sorry, I know this is about building the entrepreneurial mindset. This wasn't like a kid presentation, but share the mistakes you make with them. They don't want you to be perfect. They don't think you're perfect, just an FYI. But tell them how you learned from your own mistakes. This works, I promise you, the CEOs out there, those that are on boards, right? That poor little executive director that shows up, that made a mistake and is looking at all of you, was sweating all night. It's like, oh my gosh, I make this mistake all the time. Oh my gosh, this will be a whole new type of relationship you have. Be a real person. I know this is hard for this group. You can't control everything. At some point, Jeannie had to let go and she's gonna do it. We'll see how it goes, right? She tried up to a certain point. Send me that presentation, right? And then I showed up today and it's like, oh, she's here, right? You gotta let go, right? You have to embrace other people. Someone's gonna bring some snacks. It may not be my snack, but yay, right? Can't do the video. You can't do it all yourself. You will be amazed, though, then when you start bringing all these people in. Right? Create your own team. It's so awesome. The subtitle of my class, Entrepreneurship from Diverse Perspectives, is actually You Can Do It. And you're thinking, Stanford Business School? Are you kidding me? You have to say that? Yeah, I do. I know it's crazy. You all can do whatever you want to do. I have this framework, getting all A's, they love getting A's, right? Ask, don't assume. Gain awareness. have these aha moments. I hope you had some aha moments today. Oh, I get that. Accept where you are and how you're going to move forward. And then these are the most important. Take action and accountability. Accountability maybe to yourself, if you want to tell me, if you want to tell Jeannie, if you want to tell that awesome person you just shared some crazy thing about yourself, right? Sometimes it's easier to do that, but you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable. It's only a crazy dream until you do it. You all can do it. Thank you. Do you have any questions or any? Yeah.
What do you recommend about like a creative concept, but not having the technical engineering expertise to put it into fruition? Do you recommend outsourcing that aspect of an idea and, hustle business, or do you recommend becoming an expert yourself?
I mean, that's a sort of a big question, and there's no one right way. It depends. If you want to gain those technical skills, it's really powerful. I mean, it's been interesting watching Jeannie gain all these technical skills as she was. No, but floundering's powerful, right? And then you have to figure it out. It depends how technical, but I think having a team is really amazing, and so I'm a big team player, and I love finding team members. And there are lots of people. The thing about your ideas, so it's never about the idea, right? It's all about the execution. And don't be afraid to share your idea, right? Because again, everyone had all these, the idea for Soul Food Salon, no one did it, right? And it's like we all have these ideas, do it. I'm sure someone will say oh, I know someone who's interested in that. Just depends on what you want out of it. Anyone? Okay, you're not done. I want with that same group of people, because I still have 5 minutes, same group of people, what are you going to do differently walking out of here today? What's one thing you heard? And I hope if I walk around, it's I don't hear anything. Right? What's one thing you're going to do differently? What's an idea you have? If someone has a question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you teach at the Stanford Business School, but do you also teach, or who do you teach, and can we take your class? How do we, because I'm looking for support, and I look around the room and I know there's lots of people that I can team up with and group, but I would love help moving forward. Yeah. I've gone a good way and I have ways to go, but how do we get more support through you or through other, who do you recommend? Yeah. Does it make sense? To find like-minded people to grow with.
Yeah. Well, I do think there's probably some like-minded people in this room right now. So again, the more you talk about what you're interested in doing, the more you'll hear people are like, whoa, that's really interesting. I'm happy to talk to you. My classes are at, what? Yeah. I do have a lot of walking meetings. And I have a new rescue dog who really likes to walk a lot. But my classes now are at the business school and the engineering school, and I wish people could come. And I think they're continuing studies. There's tons of classes around. I could help find some and share those resources. Yeah.
Work, but just
for sure.
Other people that are doing that are similar stuff.
Yeah. All right. Please.
Anybody who's interested in what she's interested in, maybe after we do your meeting with our same people, go over to you and say, hey, I'm interested in working with you.
What are you interested in?
Well, I teach, I have a business called Together in the Kitchen, and I teach healthy cooking to teens and to kids and to adults. And I integrate it with helping parents feed their picky eaters and expose their kids to more food at the family table. But I spent 10 years in corporate world. to live in other companies, and I've been doing this business for about 2 years. And I've like you talked about it, taken steps and trying to face the fear and big time imposter syndrome. Who am I to even know anything about how to do what I'm doing? It's step by step more successful, but there's so many ideas. I don't know what to do next.
Today's snack was made by Michelle, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess there's like 20 people in this room that may come over and.
Yeah, I love to talk to people who have gone a certain amount of steps, but there's so much to think about and do, and website and legal stuff and business development, and then how do you just focus on everything? It's just there's so many ideas, right? Like, what do you focus on next?
All about focus, but that wasn't this presentation.
How do you execute next? Right?
So something that might be helpful, I don't know how many of you guys have done Reboot Excel, but it's a great program for people that have been out of the workforce for a while, but they have a special entrepreneurship class, and it's for entrepreneurs, and it's step by step, what are the steps you need to take.
But I do want to make it clear today, and I hope it was clear, that if like you're walking out here and you're like, oh, I'm not starting a company, or I don't want to start a nonprofit. Like, that's not my goal. It's to move forward, to make change, to help other people, to be compassionate, right? Yeah, right? I mean, I know you all got that, and like, what part of that, though, will you take forward moving out of here today? And I hope there are 10 things, but just share with your little group, maybe just one thing. Is that all right? Yes. All right.